Hi everyone, I'm Rosie. I'm with the South Bay Union School District. I'm here with Jireh from Extended Learning in Poway. Jireh, how are you today?
I'm good. How about you? You're good?
I'm great, thank you. So you're here to inspire us. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with your program, and tell us your story, motivate us.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jireh, and I'm working with ACES middle schooler at Black Mountain Middle School here at Poway. Um, I've been working with PUSD for maybe 8 years, 9 years now, but I've been working with middle school, and high school for probably 15 years now.
Wow, so you've been with us for a while, you're a veteran. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit of your story here during the pandemic? What have you done with your program to kind of, you know, bring everybody out of their shell?
We are new to this, right? Like we cannot even say, "Hey, guess what? I did a pandemic during 1918." Nope, this is new. So one thing that we're all doing is the virtual learning, and I was amazed how in Poway Unified the ACES formed 5 middle schools with virtual learning called Epic ACES.
Amazing. So you were able to bring 5 middle schools together and bring them out of their shell. That's great. So, what kind of struggles did you have before getting to that point where everybody was kind of melted together?
Oh, there were fears. I mean, program leads, supervisors, they were afraid. How are we going to have this? Because there's probably more than 100 students. Are they going to participate? What activities are we going to do? We can do sports, we can do all that, but yet we somehow managed and we created, it became a professional growth day every day, not just for students, but also for other program, for other leaders, for other supervisors. It becomes a family of people sharing ideas with this Epic ACES.
Beautiful. And so what does it mean to be so successful during a pandemic? A lot of us had trouble, building up, even in person. So, what does it mean to you to be so successful during a pandemic when, everything feels like it's falling apart? How does it feel to put everything back together?
The idea of change. Most people are afraid to have change. And here's the thing, we can all relate because we are all going through this pandemic. We are all going through this virtual learning that we're having. And one thing that makes me passionate about this is I excel in the midst of change. Just like a pencil that needs to be sharpened, you need to go through that to do that thing that's painful to be useful, like a sword, like a gold, like a diamond, like a beautiful ceramic that you need to be on fire. And that's what motivates me and passionate about working with Epic ACES during this pandemic.
Okay, Jaira. So, that's a big way to show some success. And, I applaud you for everything that you've been doing up until this point. How did the morale change with your program, with your staff and with your coworkers and your peers? How did that change after, you realized that you guys have reached this successful point in time?
It became a family. How it's the pandemic was so isolating, not just for students, but also for staff. Like we cannot do the things that we want to do with our students activity wise, but with this Epic ACES virtual that we created, all of us are engaged, even the students. We created clubs that are just focused on, like example, like gardening, cooking club, some arts. So it's not just the students, even the staff became a family.
That's beautiful. And that's how we want it to be. What inspires you and your staff to keep going?
Um, don't the hope, the idea of hope that at the end of this pandemic, you don't stop. You know why? Because people are gonna have their own personal pandemic. And with that personal pandemic, you don't stop with students, with your coworker, with your colleagues. You keep going, you adapt to change, you go in, you react on what's happening, and you respond and you figure out.
Absolutely. I'd like to reiterate that, you said, even when the global pandemic is over, everyone's still going to be suffering through their own private, personal pandemic. And that's a big way to put it, because everyone's going to be easing themselves into this a different way. So thank you for that. One more question for you. How are you going to apply, everything that you've learned, all your success throughout the pandemic with your program and getting all these middle schoolers together and out of their shell? How are you going to apply that for when you go back to being on site in person with all the kids?
Yeah, I want everyone to challenge themselves. Program staff, supervisors that go think outside the box. I mean, it's cliche, but it works. It raises up um, people to a level of wow, like I did something. Like during the pandemic, I did something. And when the pandemic's over, bring it to your campus. What you've learned from the virtual learning, bring it to your campus.
Absolutely. Perfect. I want to thank you for everything that you've done. It's a big deal. You've put yourself out there, and because you and your staff put yourself out there, the kids were able to put themselves out there. You guys set that example, and no longer are the kids hiding behind the camera. So thank you. It is huge what you've done. Please keep up the good work, and thank you for sharing your story today.
Yep. Don't stop. Don't stop.